just to make sure that you already know, this webinar is being recorded. There's just one big housekeeping thing that I want to discuss before we move on. So there is a chat area in this Zoom session, as well as a Q&A area. The chat session is open for all of you. You can, chat and, anything you'd like to do. So please feel free to use the chat. Okay. The Q&A, please use the Q&A for any questions you might have. The Q&A is being logged, meaning if there's a chance we can't answer some questions in Q&A tonight, we will make sure to follow up. If you put it in chat or if you don't ask a question, there's no way we can follow up. So if you have any questions, either during the webinar, or we will have a Q&A session after, please put it in the Q&A box. Robin will be taking care of all that, but please do use the Q&A for your questions, and you can use the chat just for general meet and greet. Okay, and so we'll get underway. My name is Mickey. Welcome to tonight's webinar on ClubRunner donations. My co-host tonight is Robin. We'll move on to the next screen. Just a very brief outline of what we'll be covering today. So the first thing I want to discuss about the ClubRunner donations module is payment providers. I'll go over that just briefly so you can get a sense of that. We're going to have an overview of the features available. We'll actually be setting up a donations module live tonight. We're going to, in point 3, we're going to be setting up, and we're going to be managing fundraising campaigns. If you don't know what a campaign is, we'll be discussing that. And number 4, we're going to be customizing donation tiers, email templates. We'll be talking about landing pages. And then we're going to be discussing the donation trend. You know what? I'll just simplify it. We're going to be discussing the donation analytics and reporting. So I'm going to get started right away with the payment providers. Okay. Now, I just wanted to bring up this slide so that you have something to look at. In Canada, your club or district, you must set up a subscription with what's called Worldline Online Payments. This used to be called Bambora. In US, your club or district must set up either with Worldline or Bambora, what used to be called Bambora, or Paya Online Payments. And for international clubs outside US and Canada, please inquire with us. And for details, please email support@clubrunner.ca. This is actually step 0. Step 1, we're going to be setting up the donations module. But step 0, if you don't have an online integrated payment module, Worldline or Paya or international, we can discuss. Without that set up, you actually can't use the donations module. That's why I wanted to put this first. I also kind of want to give you a general overview of the options, but also the most important thing is our email address. I didn't want to inundate you with, hey, let's go look at, Worldline and let's look at Paya. I just want you to know these names so that if I'm in Canada, I need something called Worldline. I don't know much about it. Send us an email. We'll help you get started by setting up a payment provider so that your club or district can also use the donations module. In other words, on this entire slide, the only thing you need to remember is our email address, support@clubrunner.ca. We'll make sure to help you get started. Okay, so I'm going to begin. I'm going to go here. We're not going to talk about how to log into a website. I've already logged in to our club website. I am a site administrator, so I just want to mention briefly that not every person in your club is going to be able to access the donations module. Usually it's site admins, or in the case of a club, it's level 30, 40, and 50. I won't go too much into that. I just want to stress that your general membership can't just access your internal donations module. So I'm logged in as a site admin. Site admins can essentially access everything. So that's how we're going to move forward. So To set up the donations module, I'm going to use the top blue tabs. Every time you log into ClubRunner, whether it be on a club or a district site, there's always going to be a blue bar. The blue bar is slightly different between club versus district, but admin, my ClubRunner, communications, so on and so forth. I'm logged into a club site. And so to set up a donations module, I'm going to click here on donations. And then I'm going to click on donations settings. I have not set up the donations module because we're going to do it together tonight. Okay, so remember, step 0, none of this will even really work. Like, you won't be able to really get to this screen unless you have an integrated payment provider. We have one on this testing site. This is a fake club. This is not a real Rotary Club because we're not going to reveal anyone's identity tonight. We're only using fake data. So let's begin setting up the donations module. I'm going to click on setup. And it takes me to the next screen, which will allow me to edit all the donation settings. Okay. So this is the general donation settings. I'm going to give you kind of a sneak peek, but very shortly we're going to talk about what a donation campaign is. But before we even get to campaigns, every club starts off, or a district starts off, with just a general donation. What that means is this is just, it's not really a campaign, it's not a special thing. I just want to donate to the Rotary Club of XYZ. So the donation listing, this is our general donation form. Okay, and so this is not for a specific cause or anything like that. This is just, I want to give $20 to Rotary Club of X. What do you want to call the general donation campaign? I'm just going to call it the general donation campaign because I'm not going to get creative with this one. Okay, and then and there's something called a code. I'll make this just a bit bigger. Hopefully you can see all this. Okay, so this is just a code that will help to figure out what people are donating to. When you start setting up multiple donation campaigns, in other words, different causes, at your payment provider, whether that be Worldline or Pay or what have you, you're going to see all these transactions, $20, $50, $10. What are all of these? Put in a code. That way you know that $10 went to this code, $20 went to this other code. My code for general donations is just Gen Don. I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to get too creative here. I'm just going to keep it very simple. Okay. What is the description? This is, you can put any description you like. I'm just going to put general donation description. Okay, like I said, no creativity for this one, right? And then there's something in these donation settings, the initial setup, display options. So what does that mean? We want to show the total donation amount. Now, I'm turning this on because I want people to know that, $50 we've raised or $1,000. So I want people to know how much we've raised. You can turn this off later. So if you don't want to show the total amount pledged for the general donation campaign, you can uncheck show total donation amount and then show total number of donors, how many people have donated so far. So I want that to be shown as well. Now we're going to come to available amounts. Okay, so you're going to input the amounts that someone can donate. Once again, keep it simple, and I'm going to keep it uniform. Like, I want all my donation campaigns to have the same available amounts. My available amounts are $5, 10, 25, 50, and I can put 100. You know what? I'll just do 100. So 5, 10, 25, 50, or 100. That's actually quite a lot. So I'll just do 5, 10, 50, or 100. You're going to see how this plays out because we're going to look at a live donations page once this is set up. But just 5, 10, 50, 100, meaning they don't have to donate these amounts, because the next option, I'm going to check this box, allow free form amount, meaning they don't have to donate $10 or $50. They can put in $17 or $27, whatever they feel like putting in. They do need a minimum amount, and because our club is always happy to take anything, I'm going to put the minimum as $1. So why not, right? If someone wants to donate $1, it's their prerogative. Okay, so when someone donates, they'll get a confirmation message saying, thank you for your donation. You can use our default message, right? Which is this, right? And don't worry about this. This gets filled in. This is a database field. But basically, this is what everybody sees if you don't edit the message. I'm going to close this, okay? I'm going to use a custom message. So in other words, what I'm doing is I'm not using the default message out of ClubRunner. I want to write something in. So, our organization, this is pre-written. I pre-wrote this, but you can put anything you want, right? So you can make a custom, basically confirmation saying, thank you so much for this donation. We really appreciate it, et cetera, et cetera. Like I said, this is a general donation. I'm not going to change anything here. I'm going to scroll down. And then there's a donation confirmation. Okay, I just talked about a donation confirmation. So what is this? What this does is this sends a message saying your donation transaction is completed. Okay, and what the email template I'm going to use? There's system and custom email templates. We're going to get into email templates. Let me just talk about that. So we have a donation confirmation message. The email template can be either system or custom, meaning the system is right out of the box. It's ClubRunner. We just input it. You don't have to create anything from scratch if you don't want to. If you use custom, you can actually create a custom template. I haven't yet. I will, but for now, there's no custom templates, but we'll get to it. We'll get there. I'm going to click on custom. I'm going to choose system. And right now, the only system template I have is a donation confirmation. So I'm going to use that. And then the full name now, this is from. So when the email gets sent out, it's going to be from. Who do you want it to be from? It doesn't have to be a name. It can be if you want, right? Rotary Club President, that's fine. You can do it like that. Or you can do Rotary Club. Oops, I'm sorry. Rotary Club of, and your Rotary Club name. Right? Because the name isn't as important as the email, right? You can put in your email, right? And so if they ever decide to reply or anything like that, they have questions, it'll come back to whatever email you have listed here. All right. So I'm just going to go like this and there you go. Okay. And you can put in whatever email you want. In other words, the email doesn't have to go to you if you're setting this up. Maybe it goes to your club treasurer, maybe it goes to your club membership chair or whatever you decide, okay? And the email is gonna go obviously to the donor. I'm gonna click save. This is what I've done, okay? Let's just review this very, very slowly. So the donation settings, what I've done is I've set up the default or one single donation campaign. This is the default donation. It's not diverting to any special funds or any special like fundraising activities. This is just member off the internet has seen my club website and they want to give $20 to general club whatever, right? So that's what this has done here. So you can see how this is all set up, okay? And I'm using a Paya, okay? And like I said, Paya or Worldline, remember step 0, if I didn't have this set up, I couldn't really use or configure the donations module really. So step 0 is make sure you have some kind of payment option first before you do this. If I scroll down, there's no image, right? I'm going to leave this. Image means I can actually have an image for the for this default donation. I'm not going to. This is my general donation. I've kept everything hopefully as simple as I possibly can. So I'm going to scroll up. All right. And so I've input this information. Let's see what this looks like publicly. I am now in my member area, meaning it's all private. If you don't have a login, you can't see this. In fact, if you don't have a login and correct access level, you can't see this. Let's go see what members of the general public will see. Now the donations is set up. So instead of left clicking on home. I'm going to right click on home. I'm going to open it in a new tab. And it's going to pop open here. So I'm going to click here on my new tab. And now this actually is not working because we were testing the site. This is one of our testing sites. And I had not set up the donations page on purpose because I wanted to do it together with you. So this doesn't work. If I click on it, it actually takes me to Google, which is not where I want to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just physically type in the URL. After you're done setting up the donations page, it is whatever the URL of your homepage is. It's usually portal.clubrunner/something, or maybe it's Rotary Club of, ajax.org or text, /donate. Okay, so it's your URL, whatever your club URL, /donate. Okay, and you can see this is my general donation campaign. And you can see I've raised nothing and I have 0 donors. Now, this is what members of the public see. I do not have to be logged in. I don't have to be a member. Anyone can donate to my general campaign. And they can choose these increments. So they can choose to donate $50, or if I click on other, I can donate at least $1, but I can donate like $17 or something. Okay. Now, this is my general campaign. Let's talk briefly about what exactly a campaign is. So campaigns are the different avenues or ways to donate. It's rare that, some clubs, they just have a general donation fund, and that's fine. A lot of times clubs have different fundraisers over the year. So they might have, a giant fundraiser, let's say a golf tournament, right? And it all goes to charity. So maybe you have a golf tournament charity fundraiser and you want donations for that. I'm going to create an imaginary second campaign because we're going to go over what a campaign is and how that works. One of the initiatives our club has taken is Coats for Kids. So we're going to have 2 campaigns. We're going to have our general donation campaign, which is just like a general donation to the club. And then we're going to have a second donation for Coats for Kids. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this browser tab open. This is my homepage, my public homepage. I'm going to click this browser tab to go back to the member area. And I want to talk about the next button running down the left side, which is Manage Campaigns. I'm going to click here. Well, let's go look at some campaigns. Right now, I technically have my default campaign, but I actually can't really set this up without some kind of campaign. So my general donation campaign, we're going to push that to the side. Let's talk about a specialty campaign, my Coats for Kids initiative that my club is a part of. I'm going to click Add, and we're going to add a new donation campaign. The title of this campaign is Coats for Kids. Okay, the permalink, which you see here, right? This is the database name for Coats for Kids. Our database can handle spaces and some special characters, so it actually swaps out the spaces for hyphens. So to put in the permalink, just click inside the box. In fact, we're not even going to do anything after that. So permalink is installed. I'm happy with that. I'm going to move on to code. Remember, keep the code easy. Now, the code cannot be too long. If you notice, after 10 characters, I'm typing on my keyboard, but so the code is 10 characters or less because the code is small and gets sent to your payment provider. So you can't have a giant code. Knowing that, what I'm going to say is the code for this campaign is Coats for Kids. Keep it simple, right? So now if there's like a $35 donation, the accompanying code will be Coats for Kids. I know now that that's a Coats for Kids campaign when I'm reviewing my transaction history in, for example, Paya. Okay. Now this description, we are distributing coats for children in all the schools in our area. Okay, one sentence. You can, of course, be much more descriptive. You can have bold text. You can have colored text. You can have images. You can do anything you'd like. I'm going to keep it simple, but that's my description. I am going to have an image so you can see what an image looks like in the donation section. So I'm going to click here and choose file. I'm going to choose an image file. Now I actually have, where did it go? There it is. I actually have a little image of a little kid in a coat. So, you don't have to have an image, but I'm going to have one so you can see. Okay. Display options. If you have a keen eye, you might have noticed before there were 2. Now there are 3 donation options, display options, I'm sorry. Let's talk about the 3 display options. You already know show total donation. I want that because I want people to see, like maybe we have a goal to raise $1,000 or something. I want like a little, basically a cue to say, hey, we're $500, we're halfway there. Show total number of donors. I definitely want that. You can turn that off, of course, if you want later. And then show on public donations page. This was not there prior. When you're setting up the general donation campaign, it's always going to show on the public donations page. You can't really hide that, otherwise you don't have a donations module. You can hide donation campaigns, meaning you can have a campaign but make it slightly invisible. It still has a URL for that campaign. You can share the URL privately with people. That's why I know this seems like a very simple option, but I want to spend a second on it. You don't have to show all your campaigns publicly. You can uncheck this box and essentially have a private campaign. Maybe it's members only. Maybe you don't want members of the public donating. So you can actually uncheck this. This is not a private campaign. I'm going to check the box, but I just want you to know that this option is present. Available amounts, I'm going to go back to my trusty 5, 10, no, I forgot, 25, 50, 100. I think that's what I got. It doesn't have to match. They're not exact. So I think that's what I put in. I'm sure I'm making a mistake or something, but just put in a number separated by some commas. And the most important thing for me is to allow a free-form amount. The minimum amount, maybe Coats for Kids, maybe it's just hard for us to process all these contributions. So maybe the minimum amount must be $5, right? So if someone tries to donate $2, maybe in this case, we can't accept it. So for this not specific Coats for Kids campaign, the minimum donation amount is $5. You can make it $1 if you choose, of course, okay? Once again, we're going to use a custom message here. I'm not going to use the default message. And this is what the custom message says. I'm going to change it. Thank you for donating to Coats for Kids, right? And then I'm not going to delete this ID, right? This and like I said, I know this looks a little strange, but this is a database field. This will get swapped with an actual number, with an actual value when the email gets sent. But I'm not going to erase this line because this is actually the donation number. When every person donates, they'll have a donation number so that I can look up the transaction later. So I want this email to them. And then thank you, donor. You'll receive a confirmation shortly. Okay. I'm going to scroll down. Do I want to send an email confirmation? Absolutely. Okay. And I don't have any custom email templates yet. We're going to get there. I'm just going to choose the system, donation confirmation. The full name is Rotary Club of Kipling, right? You can choose to make it, instead of Kipling, maybe you want to put your membership chair, your treasurer's name, John Smith or Jane Doe. But I'm going to do this. And then the email is my email, right? My email address. Okay. And there you go. And it can be any email you'd like. I'm going to click save. What I'm doing now is I've created a second campaign. I have my general, I have Coats for Kids, okay? You can see here that the public is selected, meaning everybody who's visiting my site can see this Coats for Kids campaign. I can, of course, turn that off if I don't want. Default. Is this my default campaign? It can be. Right now, my default campaign is my general, the one I created first. But maybe this one is more important, or maybe it's in the month of June or July, you're really in gear to get raise money for a campaign. So if you want, you can make this the default campaign if you want to. I'm not going to. I just want you to know you can make this a default campaign. For now, I want to just see what this campaign looks like. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to go back to my donation page, and I'm going to go back here. Now this actually, now if I click /donate, now I've created a campaign, but you can't see it. This is one of our things. When you come to your URL /donate, it's your general donation campaign. That's on purpose because some clubs have their default donation campaign, they just $20 to the club and that's it. There is a little bit of a fine line here. Instead of the word /donate, and I'm sorry, here, let me actually just make this bigger for you, okay? So instead of /donate, right, your club's URL /donate is the general campaign, okay? I'm gonna do your URL /donations, okay? Now I'm gonna copy this word donations, and I'm gonna go back here, and I'm gonna paste it in, and you can see this is where we can list all of our campaigns. And this is a slightly different page than we were on. Now I can still donate to my general donation campaign, and that's fine. Or here's a list of my campaigns. I've got Codes for Kids. You could have 5 more campaigns, all listed here, all with nice looking images, you know, and so this is how the donations kind of overall works. You create a general campaign. Every club kind of starts with that. That's just money being diverted to whatever. It's not really a cause. It says it's going to your club. And then these are special donation sections where the donor is actually donating to something in particular. Maybe it's a memorial fund for someone who's deceased, you know, et cetera, like that. So here's my Codes for Kids. I want to donate to Codes for Kids. So I'm going to click here on, and you can see that right now I haven't raised anything. Of course, I just set this up 5 minutes ago. So let's click donate now for my Codes for Kids. And you can see how this works. Okay. Right now I have no other special campaigns. It's just Codes for Kids. But this would normally list all the other campaigns I have. But let's, you know, so if I choose other, right? Remember I said I can't donate $1, right? So because my minimum amount is $5. This is a little hard to read, but the red box says we appreciate that, but please donate $5. That's our minimum amount. That's kind of what the box says here. It says, however, our minimum donation amount is $5 US dollars. So I'm going to donate, I don't know, I'm going to put something not on this list. I'm going to donate $45 because it's not on the list. Okay. So I can, of course, choose one of the default values, but I'm going to donate myself. I like to donate for whatever reason, $45 because it sounds like a nice number to me. I'm going to click the donate button, and it's going to take me to the credit card screen. Okay, now let me make this a little bit bigger, and I'm going to go over this credit card screen just very quickly, right? This is the donor. Remember, you don't have to log in. All members of the public can use this. And so this is what I'm donating. This is who I am, right? And this is all fake information. I put in my my information. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try this. So I'm going to pause sharing my screen. Hopefully, my screen has frozen because what I'm going to try to do is I'm actually going to try and I want to look at an email because I want to show you what the donor side. I want to show you what they see, because it's great that you are a club and you're going to ask people to donate. What does the donor see, right? So what emails are they getting? So here, I'm just going to do this. Now you'll have to take my word for it. I know you can't really see it, but hold on 1 second. I'm almost done. I was kind of struggling to I couldn't really fill all this in beforehand. So what I'm going to do is, let's just make sure. Okay, there we go. I'm going to fill this in. Okay. And then like that. And I'm going to have to convince you that I actually submitted credit card information. So I'm going to, give me 1 second, please. Let's go back here. And what you'll see now is, and the reason I paused my screen is because I had to input some of our testing credit card info. I didn't want that recorded. Okay, so I donated, and I'm sorry to do that in real time. I couldn't figure out another way to do it. This is the confirmation, right? And do you see what's happening here? This is the confirmation screen. My donation number is 1 because I'm the first person to donate. And it says you'll receive a confirmation email shortly. So this is the screen that everybody sees after they fill in their credit card information. This is the credit card screen. Now, bear with me. Let's go here. Let me go here and let's take a look at here. There it is. Sorry, it kicked me out of my email. I have to log in again. So I want to show you, because I feel this is really important. It's not just about you as a club donating. What does the person see? The person who just donated, the donor. So what happens is I just got this, okay, and let's just now this is like I said, this is our testing information. So you're going to see some default values. It'll all be filled in with your Rotary Club info or district info when you set this up. But here, let's take a look at this email that I just got. So this is basically saying this is a confirmation, and you just donated $45, and then you have an order number. So this order number is actually really valuable. We do not save credit card information inside ClubRunner, so we'll never know the credit card and name and all. Well, we'll know the name, but we won't know the credit card number used. This order number is used as a transaction ID, meaning, okay, somebody who paid $45, I think it's someone named Sam Dunn. What this points to the credit card transaction. That's why we send this email to that person. All right, so this is an auto confirmation. Okay, so every donor will get a record of this. Now let's see if no, it hasn't come in yet. Okay, just give me 1 second, please. All right, go back here. All right, so I just wanted you to see what the donor side sees. Okay, so let's take a look and go back here. So that's essentially what the donation process is. Like I said, I'm sorry I couldn't show you me filling out the credit card info. I didn't want to show that part. I'm going to go back here and click on the member area. So we've got some donation campaigns. In fact, we have our first donation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just skip something, and I want to show you the donation analytics. Yeah, I think I'll do that first because I'm going out of order here. I know we want to talk about email templates, but I want to show you donation means this an overview of all the donations across all your campaigns. Right now, there's one donation to one campaign. So this is going to look a little barren, but that's okay. This is all just testing right now. Now, what I do have is, let's see if it, give me 1 moment, please. Okay, hopefully it didn't. All right, perfect. Now, bear with me for half a second, because what I'm going to do is I had this queued up. I want to show you another one of our testing clubs. This is the donation analytics. This is all fake data for something that's more filled in from a different testing site. Now, obviously, it took time to build up this information, but as you can see, they have several donation campaigns and several donors. And so this donation analytics page is a great way to keep track of all the different ways people are donating, right? So how much has, right now, our top donation getter by far is Donate to Greentown. This is the general campaign where it's just donating to the club. But then they have some specialized, this club also has, I'm sorry, it's a little small here, make this a bit bigger. This club also happens to have Codes for Kids because it's a popular campaign, but they have something called Healthy Heart Foundation, a bike ride, and pumpkin carving. So this club has different campaigns. And this analytics page is a breakdown of all those campaigns. If I scroll back up, you can actually go and you can see all the different charts and graphs. If I click here on view all donations, these are the recent ones that have happened. I'm going to click on view all donations. Okay. And I can see all the donations that have occurred over time, right? And you know what? I don't want to see all the donations, but I only want to, I'm going to scroll up and I want to see a specific campaign. I want to see my Coats for Kids. Now, this is a different Coats for Kids, but it's the same difference because this is a donation campaign. I'm going to update my result. Who has donated to Coats for Kids? There were 2 donations, pardon me, to Coats for Kids. Okay, and this is a different testing site, but I just want you to see more full and rich data. The analytics and the reports are really useful because, you know, you're going to have, in fact, a lot of clubs do juggle different campaigns, so you can manage those inside ClubRunner in this way. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this browser, which had kind of this preset. I'm going to go back here. This is the one that we've worked on together. There's only 1 campaign and 1 donation. I do want to bring up manage email templates because I skipped that. So I'm going to click here on manage email templates. This is my system or default donation confirmation email, and I can edit it if I wanted to. In fact, what I'll do is I just want to show you. I'm going to click here in the actions column. I'm going to click the down arrow and then the edit button. And I can actually come to this screen, which allows me to edit this donation confirmation email. Now, you might be thinking, that email, so this is the default email. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to scroll up, okay? I'm going to click on manage email templates again. Just want to show you that you can create a custom email template. So I'm going to click add new template. And it'll be my, here's what I'm going to create. Okay, I actually, I'm not going to edit or change the confirmation email because that, let's say that has important information. I don't want to touch that. Here's what a new email template I want to create. I'm going to call it follow-up after donation. Okay, so someone donates, and then maybe a couple of weeks or a couple months later, I want to reach out to that donor and say, thank you so much. We have a new campaign or we have this or that. Would you be willing to, you know, et cetera, et cetera. In other words, this is an email after somebody donates. That's a follow-up. And the subject of that email will be, you know, thank you for your donation, right? We have a new campaign, or you can, of course, word this differently, but I'm just going to put something in here. I'm going to skip the message template code. Actually, I'll put something in. It's always nice to have something in the code. I'm just going to say follow up. Okay. When you create an email in ClubRunner, there's something called mail merge fields. Okay. Very briefly, because I don't want to get too technical, the mail merge fields are a way to access all the fields or data points in ClubRunner. So you can access all the different data values. Let's put this into practice. I'm going to scroll down. This is my text box where I'm going to type, where I can type everything I want. I want to make this a little bit more customized. I don't want to say, thank you, donor, for, I want to make it less robotic. One of the ways to do that is to say, hello, first name. So I don't know if I'm sending an email to Robert or Mary or whoever the donor is. So what I can do is I can actually put in the donor's first name. So I'm going to go like this. So here's what this special value means, and it's inside the dollar signs, right? Dollar sign registration first name. I can even use punctuation because our system, it picks the leading and the end dollar sign. I can put a comma after the dollar sign. That doesn't break the code because it's saying, oh, look, a dollar sign. What's the code? Okay, end dollar sign. And then you can put, anything you want right after. So this translates into this. If the donor's name is Bob, or Mary or Sue or etc. So this is a great way to kind of customize your outgoing emails. So I definitely really like doing that. I'm actually going to see, thank you for your donation of, and I'm going to use the donation field and donation amount. So guess what I just did, right? It's much more personalized email. Now, instead of a form letter like hello donor, et cetera, I'm using their first name and I'm telling them, thank you so much for your donation of blah, 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 right? So we have a new campaign. Please visit it. Oh, I'm having some problems typing today. So please visit it at, www.something.com. So this is a way for you to follow up and say, you know what, we have a new campaign. It's coming up for the summer. July 1st is around the corner. We had some generous donors. Maybe they'd be willing to donate again. Email is essentially free. Why not send our previous donors some kind of generalized email? And then, maybe even if only 2 of them donate, that's basically great, right? That means a little bit more donations for the club. So this is what I've done is I've set up my own custom email. I've called it this, and I'm going to scroll down. Okay. Now you can, of course, make this email look much fancier, right? With all the bold and text and, reds and italics. I'm going to leave it simple, but please do explore the mail merge fields, if you'd like to. And then scroll down. I'm going to click the save. I've created my first custom email template, my follow-up after donation. Let's put this into action. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my donation report here. So I'm going to click on this. And I'm just going to scroll down. There's really only one donation. This is the $45, my test one. You know what? It's been a week or a month or what have you. And Sam has been very generous because I know he donated $45. I want to send him my follow-up email. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click beside Sam's name. Now, if there were a list of names, I could check all their boxes, 3 of the boxes, so combination. And then I can email certain people or everyone. So let's email Sam. I'm going to click. Now, of course, the export button here, by the way, on this will allow me to, if you had, say, 35 donors, I could export the list of donors into Excel to save it. I'm not going to do that. And like I said, today, we're going to try and keep it as simple as we possibly can. I want to email. I want to reach out to Sam. So I'm going to click email. I'm going to send Sam an email. Now, guess what? I don't want to type because, sometimes you'll have 35, however many donors. I don't want to type 35 emails. So let's do this in as much of an automated way as we can. So the sender information is going to be me. Now I'm logged in as this person. So you know what? Maybe it's not going to be me. Maybe it shouldn't come from me. I'm going to click on sender profiles and I can select these sender profiles. So what is a sender profile? Who is the email coming from? It does not have to come from you. If you're logged in and you're a website admin, maybe your club treasurer, as an example, is not a website admin, but you want it to come from the club treasurer, or you want it to come, this is my generic from the club. I'm going to choose this, right? So this is just a generic something I set up with kind of genericized info. I'm going to click on custom so you can see how this works. Maybe you want this to come from the club treasurer, right? And her name is, I don't know, Sue Bentley. I'm just making this up. All right. And then while you want to send these emails out, you don't want to answer questions. You want Sue to answer all their questions. So you can send from Sue and have the email go back to Sue. In other words, you're sending, but you don't necessarily have to send as yourself for these follow-up emails. Okay, so I'm gonna send this from our club treasurer, Sue. Let me scroll down. This is where the template comes in really handy. Okay, subject is empty, email is empty, or it has a nickname, last name, which is okay. Well, I know I don't need to do that. I'm gonna click select group. I now get to use my custom. I now get to select my follow-up, and I now get to click insert. And so this is all empty, or it was empty. I'm going to click insert, and it says, hey, are you sure? Because we're going to overwrite whatever's in there with the templated message. I'm going to click OK. There's my templated information. Remember, you can do this for all, let's say you have 35 donors in the last year. You can send out these emails to all of them as a follow-up. Once you get the hang of it, it should take you a couple minutes at most, because this has already been typed for me. Maybe you need the verbiage kind of approved by your board and all those steps. Maybe you did that 3 months ago, right? Because this is all templated, it's ready to go. There's still a bit more options. I can add an attachment. Maybe you have a flyer for a donation or something like that, PDF, what have you. I can copy myself on the email just to make sure that it's going out. I can also schedule this email, meaning I do not have to send it right now. Just as an example, I know that, you know what, I'm going to be away over the weekend, but I'd still like the email to go out this weekend. So I can click this little date calendar and I can choose Saturday at 9 in the morning, even though, let's say I'm on a trip or something, or I'm going on a road trip with my family on Saturday, you know, this weekend. So that's another option, is you don't have to send this right now. You can schedule it to send in the future. I'm going to send it right now because why not? And I'm going to click send. And it's going to go out, and I've emailed the one person. Okay. And there you go. We have statistics, and I'm looking at the clock. We really need to get to Q&A, but we have email statistics. You send emails to whoever, to your donors. We have email stats. Did they get it? Did the email bounce? Let's take a look. I'm going to click here on view stats. Right now, the stats are 0 because I just sent it. So we're not really going to have stats. Like sometimes it takes a couple of minutes to send the email. Sometimes it takes hours for the user to open it. So I just want you to know that if you send an email to, say, 35 people, you can check back in an hour. Like don't check the email the second after you send it. You won't have any stats. But come back, say, after an hour, check the stats. And you can see if people got the email, you know, maybe it bounced for a few people, you can resend it. So every most major areas in ClubRunner have email statistics. I'm going to close this browser tab. I'm going to close this window. I am going to review my notes because I did a little bit of jumping around. So I want to make sure that we didn't miss anything too large. Okay. So what I definitely want to do is, now this is an overview of our ClubRunner donations module. I hope that I covered all of the major points. However, if you're following along or you're going to do this next week or next month, you don't have to watch the entire video. I'm going to open a browser tab right here. I'm going to click on this, and I went to clubrunnersupport.com. Let me make that bigger. Okay. So if you go to ClubRunner, let me make this whole thing bigger, okay? So if you go to clubrunnersupport.com, which is this site in the background, come to clubrunnersupport.com, click on guides right here. I'm going to click this guides button. A guide is our online manual for some of our major sections. And guess what? We have a donations guide. I'm going to click it, and you can follow along with the guide. You can click here to start reading. And everything I've done from minute 1 of this video, how do you do the setup? How do you get started? How do campaigns work? So we have a step-by-step guide, which essentially goes over everything that I've done in this video. So with that, I'm going to go back here. I do want to stop because I definitely want to make sure that we get some Q&A time, some live Q&A time. I want to thank you very much for your attention, for everyone. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pause. I'm going to let Robin take over because this is his chance for Q&A.
Perfect. Thanks, Becky, for a great session. I'm just going to close up what I've got on my end here. Got quite a few really good questions here, so I was thinking we could just kind of go over them collectively as a team. I apologize, everybody. I tried to get to your best questions as best I could. I'm just going to quickly share my screen. Mickey, are you okay if I take over to share my screen?
Yes, please.
Perfect. Oh, sorry, just move my screens around. Perfect. Okay, fantastic. So we've got a couple questions here that I think I could typically answer. So I want to just go over a lot of them I saved just because I figured it'd be better to kind of go over them as a team. No, actually, Mickey, Rick had a really good question. The first one I thought that a couple people asked this one as well. How can one input cash donations? The module only permits online credit card donations. As far as I'm concerned, as far as I'm aware, unfortunately, we don't allow that at this time. Mickey, do you have any kind of suggestions there?
We're working on it. It's my only, it's a great feedback. Thank you so much, Rick. I guess for the time being, the ClubRunner donations module is credit card only. I'll just stop it there. It's a great question.
Great. Julie Stevenson asked, how do campaigns and donations differ from events? I guess the biggest thing I could say with events is that when you're creating an event, you really can create quite a few options where someone could really pick and select the different options you create for the event. For example, you can purchase tickets and things like that. Whereas the donation campaign, someone is really just choosing to donate this money directly to your club or your foundation. So I wouldn't really use the events for donations. It's really the donations module itself is just really good because it's specifically designed for donations, right? Like Mickey went over before, the analytics report, all the email templates, everything. It's really just kind of built in specifically for donations, as opposed to just using events for donations. All right, we're just going to go through. Thomas Nouveau asked, please show me how to use this on social media. So when I was thinking of this question, I guess, at least Mickey, from my understanding of it was maybe he was asking of how we could possibly share that on social media. For example, like a club has a Facebook or something like that. A lot of clubs they do have that social media link where you can just share directly onto your club page, Instagram, Twitter, all that things. All you need is that just a campaign the URL for the campaign, which is always good. If you reach out to us directly as well, we can also give you a bit more feedback as opposed to me just kind of talking at you, if that makes sense. Oh, this was another great question that Christine actually had. So when you're setting up multiple accounts, just because with the way that the current webinar was set up, Mickey just created the one account, but Christine was wondering how we could how it's possible to set up multiple accounts with different campaigns. I guess we might not be able to show directly on a live demo, but it's really simple. It's just going into the settings of the campaign that you created. So let's say you create a campaign A, Coats for Kids, campaign B, like a college fund. When you go into the settings of the college fund, you see all the different payment accounts listed that we have associated for your club. So if there's ever a club that's missing there, we can help you find that club, or we can help you connect it. Or that's how you would connect it to any of the different accounts that you have. Okay, so we'll go off that. Another one, Mickey, that's actually quite a few people actually asked us was, if you need to donate by credit card, can we implement the credit card fee directly into the donation, or should we bake the price into the donation itself? So for example, instead of, Neil Lang had a great example here. So instead of saying $100, could we actually have the system add the tax, for example, the GST, meaning 105, something like that?
Yeah, that's actually, I just want to add really quickly. Once again, this is great feedback. We've got the same feedback from other users. We're trying to implement basically a transaction charge, or, like for now, yes, please bake it into if your donation is like $5, those increments, if it's $5, maybe you want to make it $7.50. The short answer, once again, we don't have a way currently to, have the user optionally pay for the club's credit card transaction, but it isn't our feedback, and we're working on it.
Perfect. Thanks, Mickey. Christine, as well, I feel a little bad for just kind of explaining how without showing you. So I'm gonna follow up with you as well, and I'm gonna show you an example when we have a campaign of how we switch between all the different funds, things like that. And just for everyone's aware, there are some questions that if we're not able to get to, we will answer. But just like that Christine, David question, a perfect example, I'm going to follow up with you and I'll show how you switch between the different campaigns and the different payment accounts. Perfect. Let's see. So this was actually a good one, a question from Kurt. He mentioned, Kurt Heisler mentions, can people see the merchant ID number, Mickey? My understanding is anybody that donates to the campaign can't see it. It's only the people who are active and have the right permissions can see the merchant ID, correct?
Oh, yeah. So the merchant ID is for your club only. It's not for like when someone's filling out the credit card info and they get confirmation emails, they will not see the merchant ID. That's for your club, basically administrators and executives. It's not public info.
Perfect. Okay, great. Yes, and if at any point someone does say that they can't see it, please let us know because that should not expect behavior for sure.
We've had that question in the past where like, hey, is this your pay a merchant ID? It's their confirmation ID, which they confuse sometimes with, hey, I can hack into Paya. Remember that confirmation transaction record? That's all that is. It's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is. And all it does is refer to John Smith paid $45 on July 1st. That's it. We don't show any Paya or Worldline info to any of your customers, any non-Rotarians.
Perfect. Just a couple questions here. So Tammy Jackson asks, did I miss, how does it actually get onto a web page? So when you create the campaign itself, what you're going to have to do is you actually have to go into for example, let's say you wanted it front and center on your homepage. You'd actually have to go into the live designer and edit it so that it would appear on your homepage. Or for example, if you want to add it into the navigation menu along the top here, for example, you see where it says features, pricing, resources, all that good stuff. You could have the donations module added there. But again, it's just all about going to the live designer and how you want to edit to appear on the page. Jim Howden asks, is the system capable of issuing tax certificates? Mickey, if you wouldn't mind handling that.
Yeah, can I, if it's okay, I'm going to share the screen.
Absolutely.
Okay, so, sorry, pardon me, let's go here. Okay, now I had a backup plan because it's a little, I'm going to use the word risky. It's a little risky sometimes to do this live and, I don't get all the data. So I'm going to open up my testing email again, okay? And because that's an excellent question. Hey, kind of tax receipts and donations are fine, but donors sometimes need that for their tax purposes. So I'm going to show you something that we did not, this did not get activated during our session today, because like I said, we're doing a very bare bones setup. I want to show you an example of what a purchase receipt looks like. I'll make this a bit bigger. Also, this gets recorded so you can see it in the recording. I hope you can see that. I know the text is a bit small. So when a donor donates, in this case, I was doing some testing and it was on another account, because like I said, this one we're working on tonight is brand new. On another account, which has a much more filled out Bambora account. Like I said, this one is kind of a little bare bones tonight. This one, every time, whether it's Bambora or Paya will give you something called a purchase receipt. And this is essentially what it looks like. And the big thing on here is the order number. This is the reference to the credit card transaction on April 17th at 6:30. So this is this is the communication between, well, did I donate something? Did I donate $15 to the club on April 17th at 6:33 p.m. Eastern Standard? Yes, it's because of this. So this, I don't know if this is exactly a tax receipt. However, it is an official transaction record that proves that I'm logged in as just a regular non-Rotarian person. I got this in my email, and it proves that I basically paid the club $15 for Coats for Kids, on such and such a date. So I hope that this can be used as a tax receipt, because we get those questions. They're excellent questions. I hope that kind of answers it a little bit. I'm going to stop. I'm going to let Robin take over.
Okay, perfect. Actually, just one last question of Mickey that Linda had that I was actually a little unsure of. Is the confirmation email address visible to the donor? Because it looked like on the other side, it said no, so I just want to confirm as well.
Oh, yeah, I stopped sharing my screen too quickly. Sorry. So let's go back here. So, yes, I'm going to go to manage email templates. And the short answer is yes. So if you, I'm sorry, here, let's go to my follow-up, my custom one that I did. Okay. So, oh, I see what you know what? Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm getting confused with Linda's. Sorry, Linda, I got confused with the question. Let's go send a follow-up again. So I'm going to go to report. I'm going to email this same person again. So, and please, Linda, tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm misinterpreting. I'm going to click here. I'm resending a follow-up to someone who's been a donor, right? I click custom here, right? I'll just go Mickey at Gmail. This is going to get shown. So the email goes out and it goes out with my name on it. Or let me remove Chrissy. It goes out with my name and this email, and the user sees Mickey at gmail.com or whatever email you want to put in. They hit reply. It goes back to Mickey at gmail.com. Please make sure this is a valid email because otherwise it'll bounce. But yeah, I hope that answers your question, Linda. The recipient of this follow-up email, when I use this custom field and I just put in an email address, they will, when they hit reply, well, they'll hit reply, it'll go back here, but it will also show that this email is coming from Mickey at gmail.com. I hope that makes sense, and I hope I answered your question, Linda.
So yeah, she just actually just followed up and quickly said, can they see Chrissy's address?
Address. Sorry, click email address. Is that what you? There's no home address. Like you can put your home phone and all that into the message body, right? Like you can put a phone number here if you want to. You can put your home address if you want to. Otherwise, no, none of that stuff is shown. It's your email address, and basically whatever you list here is shown. And okay, I hope I answered that correct. Did I get that?
Yes.
I hope that answers the question. Sorry, I got really confused by that one for some reason. I apologize about that.
No problem. That threw me a little bit too, actually. Yeah, so that actually looks like it's more or less the questions. There is this more just for Mickey. There's something I think we're a couple questions that might have to just kind of follow up, but yeah, I can't see anything else that's particularly pressing on my end.
I am also, pardon me, I'm just going to make sure, because we had some great interaction today. So thank you everybody for posting. This is wonderful. And like I just want to repeat, because what we're going to do is we're going to do the wrap up procedure in the next minute or in the next few minutes. We're going to wrap up. Please, if you have any questions, put it in the Q&A. It'll absolutely gets logged in the Q&A. If there's something we didn't handle today, we will go back and check the Q&A logs. So please do put something in the Q&A. The chat is mostly for, for chatting. But if you have an important question, please make sure it goes to the Q&A. Even if we don't get to it today, I feel like, oh, okay. I'm gonna, David asked a really good question. It looks like he asked it pretty recently. So David, no last name, going to be used. So David W, is there a licensing restriction for other vendors besides Paya? In other words, I'm in the US. Can I use Square, Venmo, whatever? The short one, I'm sort of giving you these short answers. We're working on it. The short answer, no. Right now, if you have, let's say, Square or something like that, you can't use that for the ClubRunner donations module yet. Right now, it's Paya or Worldline. We're looking to expand this list of providers. So we want to have, let's say, PayPal and some other popular ones. So this is all feedback from our clubs and districts, by the way, that, clubs are saying, can you have, XYZ? So the short answer is no, you can't have anything other than Paya or Worldline in the US or Worldline in Canada for now. The longer answer is we definitely want to open this up to have more payment providers in the future. So that's an excellent question. Oh, we got more. Robin, do you want to take some of these, or would you like me to? Or
Yeah, sorry, they're just all, they started coming in the last couple